strange place to start, but Scott Lycett has had a huge game yesterday. Have you seen that or heard from that, and what was the thoughts from the head coaches in the Magpies? What did they say about him?
Oh, we were thrilled. As a club, we were thrilled that he went back, and he didn't get the opportunity to play straight off being omitted, which is always difficult to deal with. So he had an extra week to think about it, chew on it. Really loved the way he responded. It was a big day. It was a big day for the whole team, to be honest. We had a lot of good performances, which we're really thrilled about. So feedback to Scotty is play well, keep playing well, and you never know. We're going into some exciting times for both teams, so he'll need to continue to play well.
I would suggest it's probably way too early to make a call on who's going to ruck this week, but how much do you put an emphasis on good form in the twos versus, or great form in the twos versus good form in the ones, or how does that balance work for you? And obviously the same thing happened a couple of weeks ago with Ladhams.
Yeah. Look, I think most importantly, we're really happy with what Pete's doing in the ruck at the moment, whether he's spending majority time in the ruck or whether he's getting it done up forward. He has added a different dimension to our game. He's got a really good ground level game for a big fella. He's quick. He really buys into all phases of the game. So that's his strengths. Scooter's got a huge upside. You know, he's really combative. He's a big guy. He's got physical presence, and we really value that highly as well. So yeah, look, selection's not obviously until later in the week. I can't see us making a change in that space, but that's not to say we won't talk at lengths about it and push a case for someone like Scotty getting in.
Are you surprised at how well Pete's been able to step up in the last couple of weeks as more of a number one ruckman?
I wouldn't say surprised. It was always going to be a little bit difficult for him having to play majority time forward while he was sort of forging his way and trying to push for that number one role. Which is often the case when you're a young ruckman. You generally get the dregs in terms of the time allocated as a ruckman. So he was able to bide his time. He was able to do good things as a forward, and now we're giving him more minutes as a ruck. I think the combination between him and Paddy is a really productive one for us at the moment. We're getting good looks in the middle. They're both good centre bounce players, but they're really adequate forwards, and it just gives us a little bit more flexibility in game.
Do you think Lycett and Ladhams can actually play together in the same thing?
Oh, absolutely, I do. I don't see why not. As I said, I think both have shown good forward craft when they've gone there. We're always striving for a bit more out of our big blokes. If they're not catching it, we make sure that they join in team defence as well.
How happy were you with the other big blokes up forward on the weekend for various reasons?
Yeah, look, it was a great output from a forward group that had taken quite a few hits and come under a lot of scrutiny. And look, there's still a work in progress for us. The dynamics, the combination, the height, the speed, we're still searching for that right combination. I think on the weekend to have something like 26 tackles in that part of the ground with the extra tall, to force Sydney into a lot more sort of rushed rebound and dirty ball on the way out. I thought it was a real feather in their cap, and as a group they really put a high price on making sure that they kept it in the area if they didn't mark it. So yeah, we were better for it.
So still could be, I guess, changes this season to the forward mix. You said you're still searching for that perfect mix. Yeah,
I think when, as we've shown for most of the year, if we want to play guys in form. We want to make sure the combination is fully functioning. So, yeah, they were really good on the weekend. They've had their challenges leading up to this point, but we think they're growing. You know, most of that unit is very, very young, and to add Todd Marshall to that mix this week, and even himself to have 8 or 9 tackles as a big guy, and again put a high price on that part of the game when he's not marking it, is a huge advantage for us.
Back-to-back wins, Monty. Is it a little monkey off the back perhaps? I know you probably wouldn't pay too much attention given longer-term picture and aspirations, but is it just nice to get over a little hurdle? Yeah,
probably. There's a few significant things in that. I think not just back-to-back. There was winning in the wet, being able to adjust to conditions, which we hadn't done in first quarters quick enough previously. Probably just, again, building on what was an outstanding performance last week, which we've done in the past and didn't really build. So we lost a bit of ground or momentum. So, yeah, there were significant things that came out of the weekend's game for sure.
Did you do anything, I guess, different leading up to this for this week to try and get that, that consecutive win? It's something we seem to ask every week. Did you do anything different?
I think we addressed the conditions a little bit earlier in the week than we'd done in the past. I think we gave our playing group a bit more certainty about what they were going to confront in terms of conditions, rather than just rolling out and just expecting that they would understand what it was going to take to play in those sort of conditions. As it turned out, it wasn't that bad. We played in a lot worse.
When was the decision made to bring in Ollie?
Well, Ollie was obviously part of the emergencies with Trent and Maisie. When Zach had decided that he was too sore and he was putting himself before the team, he was to roll out. So the morning of the game but we were pretty clear it would be Ollie would be the one to come in and replace him. And we knew what we were going to get. It was an interesting week, wasn't it? The hysteria around his selection, I just found it absurd, really. We got a player that's had an incredibly challenging year on a number of fronts, and he was coming back from what was a really significant thumb injury, and we just thought that he needed the extra week if he had that opportunity. As it turned out, the opening popped up and we put him in there, and he did and delivered exactly what we thought he would, whether that was this week, next week or the week after. And I was really, really happy for him.
Didn't look like he missed a beat though.
No, it didn't. And he's been working on quite a lot of things through this year. Very hard to become a new captain, work on different parts of your game, embrace a new game style when you're playing every third or fourth week and dealing with injuries. So, yeah, I was really happy for him.
What chance is Ryan Burton this week?
Ryan's every chance to play this week. Every chance. So we'll have to... He had a great training week last week, so it suggests that he'll launch himself into this week with no hurdles, no obstacles, but we'll see him train fully Wednesday. Look, I'd expect he'd play.
Twos?
No, I don't think so. So let's just see how he gets through the week. If he's fully fit, he's certainly going to give us an interesting conversation come match committee, but I'd expect him to play.
That looked like, when it happened, it looked like one of those sort of 3-month hamstrings. That's surprising how he's progressed.
Maybe not surprising. I've been encouraged by the way he's worked through it and the work that's gone into him with our team. So, look, if there is any doubt, as I said, he had a really good week last week to suggest he'd be fully fit, but he will need to train the whole week.
Motlop and Howard had big games as well.
Yeah, it's good signs. Good signs. They know what they're working through. We've been really clear with why they're not in the team. We've been really clear with what it's going to take to get them back in the team. Exciting times at the moment. It was great to see the 2 wins. Really powerful performances from both teams.
Do you feel like you're getting your best team on the path almost now, with, hit at the right time of the season?
Yeah, pretty much. Without going into too many specifics, and I'm sure I'll leave someone out here, I think Ebert would be a great get for us if he was to come back and find some form in the latter part of the year. But other than that, yeah, we are getting a good look at selection, which is important. There's so many more names available and so many more names in form to make our job even more difficult.
On top of the win, Crows lost, Freo lost, North Melbourne didn't play this week, had a big loss as well. This is all coming together quite nicely for your run home.
I'd say what's coming together quite nicely is we're finding some balance in our game. We've been able to put two wins together. We've found a good fit and some good combinations in all areas of the ground. I'm not sure we look too closely at how everyone else is going. Being a team that's sort of gone win-loss for quite some time, we've got our own stuff to worry about. So, no, we're really happy with the balance that's found its way into our game the last fortnight. We've been working really hard on it. I think you'd all appreciate our style has been pretty solid all year. We're just really starting to come to terms with how much risk we need to take and what areas of the ground we need to strengthen up. So it's all eyes on us at the moment from a coaching point of view and not too much else.
How far off do you think you are, Monty? I mean, you've been going well the last couple of weeks. How much more do you think you can improve before the start of the final?
I think we've still got a lot to go. As I said, I think we're still working out and finding out a lot about our own game, how much risk we need to take, what speed we need to go at, how much time we need to invest in defence, all those sorts of things. I think we're finding a better appreciation for every week. There's been no doubt that over the last 2 to 3 weeks, we've been able to strike a more comfortable balanced attack and defence that I think will hold up towards the end of the year. And it's taken us 2/3 of the year to get there, to be honest. So, and individually, I think we've got some guys running into form right now.
Monty,
Last couple, thanks.
How good's Darcy Burn-Jones becoming as a defender?
He's had an outstanding year. I think the beauty of Darcy is sort of the combination of his teammates in the area making him a really good player, and I think together with that, his connection to the way we want to play has also really strengthened his game. So I don't think we've got another player on our list that's been able to embrace what we're trying to do and execute it so well and so quickly. He should be in the conversation, I'm sure, for one of the league's best running backs or half-back flankers.
The other one who's, I know you all rate him very highly internally, but doesn't get a mention outside from that back line. Tom Cleary he can just do everything as a defender at the moment, can't he? How's his confidence?
I think his confidence is good. I think for the first half of the year, there probably wasn't a better key defender getting around in the competition, and he's been challenged a little bit in the last 5 or 6 games, which I think he's very much up for. On the weekend, at times there was no clear or obvious opponent or target for him, and I think it just showed another layer of his flexibility to be able to adapt and play a different game. I thought his presence in the front half to have 5 intercept marks and keep sending the ball in was just another feather in his cap.
Nice event of the roof again this weekend.
Yeah, well, I think it suits us. I know there'd been some doubt over that in past visits, but I think that the style that we play, I think the venue and the conditions really suit us. I think we all know we've probably had double figures wet weather games this year that at times have tested us out. I think we should go back there after the Essendon game with some confidence that our style is really well suited to those conditions.
Just with Lycett, is he understanding and not happy, but of why he's using the twos?
I think the key point there is that I hope he's not happy, but I think he's now accepting of what it is that he needs to improve, and he'll work closely with his, with Dean Brogan and Jared Schofield, Scott Thompson, and I know Ken's been talking to him quite a lot. So that I think the coverage around him and the partnership they've been able to strike up around his feedback and what it is that he needs to do is pretty close. I suggest he wouldn't have any doubts as to what it's going to take.
Was he at the game watching the boys on Saturday?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
Is that something that's expected if you're not in the team, you're at the game?
Oh, I would have thought so, but I have a fair bit of my plate game day.
Thank you.